Welcome to 5 Good Minutes. You're listening to today's inspirational message on the book of Mark with Kurt Bjorklund.
In Mark 4, that starts with this parable of the sower and the seed. And in the middle of this, before Jesus interprets it, in verse 10, he says, "And when he was alone, those around him with the 12 asked him about the parables. And he said to them, 'To you has been given the secret of the kingdom of God. For those outside, everything is in parables. So that,'" and then he quotes from Isaiah 6, "they may indeed see, but not perceive, and may indeed hear, but not understand, lest they should turn and be forgiven." Now, this is perplexing to me, probably to you, because you probably say, isn't it God's desire that everyone comes to faith? So why would he speak in parables so that people don't understand? Is that what that's saying? And if you read Isaiah 6, you see it was the context of the call of Isaiah to go and minister, and he says, you're going to minister and people aren't going to get it, and they're going to see and never perceive and hear and never understand, and so expect some frustration, so to speak, in your ministry. And you may say, well, doesn't, again, the gospel have a universal call? And isn't it God's desire that none should perish? And the answer is yes. But I think the dilemma is resolved with a slightly closer examination. And Walter Wessel, who wrote a commentary on Mark, says this: "These verses are among the most difficult in the entire gospel. It's important to look carefully at the terminology. The word translated secret in verse 11 is mysterion. And it occurs only here and in the parallels, Matthew 13, Luke 8, meaning the parallels to this parable in the Gospels. Paul uses it frequently in his epistles, some 21 times, and it's found in the book of Revelation 4 times. In the New Testament, it does not mean something only for the initiated few. The emphasis is on God's disclosure to man of what was previously unknown." And then he, a little later, says, "The secret has been given to the disciples because they've responded in faith. But to those on the outside, men hardened by unbelief, all things, the entire significance of Jesus' person and mission are in parables." Here the word parabole takes on the meaning of a riddle, a meaning well within the range of the world. And what he is saying is that the gospel message to those who don't believe, the message of Jesus, seems to be goofy, seems to be a parable, a riddle, ridiculousness. This is what 1 Corinthians says when it says that the gospel message is the power of God unto salvation, but to those who are perishing, it's foolishness. And here's, I think, the implication of this, and that is, if you're a follower of Jesus, there will be people in your life who don't think that you are grounded in reality because you believe in Jesus Christ. And no matter how much you explain it or try to help reason with them, it will always appear to be a riddle. Incredibly intelligent, smart people will think that it's foolishness because they haven't come to believe. And this also means that there's a sense in which spiritual things are revealed the more there is corresponding faith. It's not just an intellectual pursuit, meaning you can study the Bible and you may have great academic rigor and you can miss the significance because you're studying it as a skeptic rather than as somebody who believes, because these things are revealed, Jesus says here. To those, he says, this, to you it has been given the secret of the kingdom, the mysterion, the mystery of the kingdom. But to those outside, it's a bunch of riddles. And so God allows certain people to see and to apprehend spiritual truth, and to other people, it is just plain foolishness. And so the challenge for you today, for me, is to not be dissuaded by people who say it's foolishness, and to probably not even try to argue with them more because they won't see, but to pray that God would change the way that they see things and bring perception to their eyes. And when that happens, then they will be able to have the scales that are over their eyes be taken away and be able to believe and respond.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.